Today I'm going to be daring to take a look at yet another show that I have never seen before, The Oblongs. Now, I basically know next to nothing about this show. I've never even seen a clip from it, but I asked a couple of people around what they thought about this show, and one person gave me a pretty decent synopsis. They basically said, it's like The Simpsons, it's got that kind of quality to it, if they fell into a vat of toxic waste, which sounds like a pretty funny concept, at least to me, because I could just imagine Homer with no arms or legs, just in paralysis, like, Marge, we don't have healthcare anymore, Marge, but instead of healthcare, we get a sitcom. You know, just shit like that. Oh, homie, don't touch me anymore, you're a paraplegic. Get away, you can't do anything to me. You know, just stuff like that. And I think that entire concept is funny, but I genuinely have no idea. So today I'm going to be seeing, was The Oblongs a hidden gem, or was it just slop, bottom of the barrel, something to be fed to the pigs? And if you like content just like this, please make sure to like and subscribe, because I upload almost every single day, and you don't want to miss it. If you want some more bonus content, my Patreon's in the description, and if you want to talk about all this stuff with like-minded people, my Discord is also in the description. Now let's finally take a look at The Oblongs. Taking a look at one of the best episodes in the series with the episode Disfigured Debbie, one thing that I immediately like about this show is just how dark they get with everything. The main crutch for the comedy is that the majority of the characters are heavily disfigured. There's something wrong with them. They were born wrong, they're missing a couple of limbs, they have a little bit of some screws loose, and for some people that's a bit too much, you know, they were just born naturally, you can make fun of it, but when it's the characters themselves making fun of the fact that they were born like this, then I think it leads to some good comedy, or they're just outright okay with getting made fun of just because it's just the way that it is. Like, take the beginning of the episode, for example. There's this character named Debbie who is like, you know, the queen bee, typical pretty lady. She's at the top of the jar, the top of the mountain at the school, and she's talking about how she's Cinderella, related to Cinderella, and then Milo goes up there, and he's talking about his family tree, and he places this up there, and he's like, all right, so, you know, my guess, what my family was like, we were all traveling carnival folk, and we were all in Hiroshima in the spring of 1944, and, you know, bad things happened there, and we all like lost our skin and a lot of our limbs, and we all started mating with each other aggressively. Brothers and sisters getting it on, mothers and fathers, wait, that's not weird, aunts and uncles, you know, all getting down and jiggy with each other. Wait, did I just say aunts and uncles? That's also not that weird, is it? Okay, either way, this incest! They're all getting freaky with each other, which leads to the developments of this family, of Milo's family, of the Oblongs. And he's like trying to talk to Debbie about his family, and Debbie's talking about how they have to do a fundraiser that specifically benefits Debbie and how Debbie's gonna run for school president. And Milo doesn't like this, and she looks him dead in the eyes and is like, it won't stop talking to me!
Why should we donate money for a room we can't even use? Ron, it won't stop talking to me.
And like starts panicking, which I thought was inherently pretty funny, you know? He's different, so you gotta make fun of him. I guess that's just my type of comedy. So, they're at the dinner table. Milo goes home. He's at the dinner table. He's discussing all of these shenanigans. And this entire scenario was really freaky. Am I a bad person? Because his father walks over. His father has no limbs, not an arm, not a leg, nothing. And I'm just staring at his dinner plate that has a giant fish on it, and mashed potatoes and peas, and I'm just staring. I'm not really listening to any of the dialogue. I did go back and listen to it, but I'm staring at this plate, and I'm like, how is he gonna do this? How is he gonna do this? I need to know! And he just picks up the fish with his entire mouth and just starts gulping it down in one singular bite, and I was just like, woo!
He's run the whole school. It's just not fair.
Now.
That was marvelous. I was very proud of him. And right after he's gulping down this fish, he starts like being a parent and telling Milo that he needs to stand up for himself and run for class president and whatnot. And his wife just looks at him with the children all at the table and is like, oh, I want you so bad. Oh, I want you so bad. You're looking more attractive than ever.
Oblong, you are sex. I'm gonna go upstairs and start plugging things in.
We need to have sex right now. And I'm just like, what? And now I'm thinking, how does he get it on? Does he just sit there and take it, or does he, like, crawl up like an inching worm and just, flap it in there? And she said something about plugging things in, which was also an interesting, lore given to me. But either way, I was fine with it. I thought it was funny. It's a good way of introducing me to the world and how the characters treat each other. So we then cut to Milo, who's in his treehouse and is discussing how he wants to be Debbie for class president. He wants to be the guy, the man in charge. He wants to do it, and he believes that he can. And then there's this character, I don't remember her name, but she kind of looks like an egg if Humpty Dumpty had human flesh. And she's like, but I love Debbie. You can't do this to Debbie. Oh no. And then they tell her that Debbie thinks that she's fat and doesn't like the little egg creature. And she just starts... She's like, what? No! Ah! Ah! And like starts having a panic attack, but then they throw acorns at her and she eats the acorns and then she's just normal? What? Why do acorns resolve all your problems?
Look, acorns!
I don't understand. I don't know what's happening. But either way, I thought it was really funny. Just like a manic episode, and the best thing to fix it is acorns. Next time somebody's having like an emotional breakdown in your life, just start shoving acorns down their gullet and see what happens. That could be an interesting day. So we then cut to them at school, and his father is there to cheer Milo on. Bob Oblong, who is also voiced by Will Ferrell, which I thought was kind of funny. He's there cheering him on. He's like, you can do this. And Milo gives his pop a big old hug, a big, just round one, just saying, thanks, Dad, I appreciate you. And the teacher walks over and is like, Milo, stop hugging that CPR dummy. Put it down. What? What the fuck? You just have to look at it for 1 second and you can tell that it's a living, breathing creature. I can't imagine having, like, no limbs and somebody walks up and calls me a CPR dummy. I mean, maybe you'd like it. Maybe if you have no limbs, you could develop a kink for it. Like, oh yeah, I'm a CPR dummy. Use me, make me breathe. I don't know. Is that fucked up to say? I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just getting in the mindset of the show, how they would think. So... he went on this like entire trip to get a bunch of like the geeks and the nobodies to want to vote for him. They all show up and they all basically turn on him and want to vote for Debbie because Debbie's just so unbelievably fine, bro. She's so hot. So she's dancing, she's hitting a little bit of a jig, and the farming club, they brought in this machine that is designed to cut things up, and Debbie falls in there. Debbie's dead. No. The queen bee! The stick figure! No! What are the gooners gonna do now? How are they gonna survive? How are they gonna live? How are they gonna goon? You know, all the Oblongs R34 chat, what are they gonna do without the Debster? Just doesn't make any sense. So Debbie is dead, and then they bury her. And the acorn girl, Humpty Dumpty herself, she's very sad about this, so she's like, no, Debbie! And hops onto the grave, and they, like, lower the coffin. And I like that everybody's initial reaction upon seeing Humpty Dumpty get in there is to start burying it as quick as possible. She gets out, which, you know, is good, I guess. So she manages to make it, but I like that they just treat her like a vile creature, like the spawn of Satan, and want to get rid of her. So either way, she was fine. And then Bob Oblong, his boss, invites him over to the mansion, which is also Debbie's parents. They all go there. They're acting a little bit freaky. They can smell their poverty. They can smell that they don't have money and they're treating them like evil people. And that is when they reveal the reason they actually brought them over is because they have Debbie. Debbie is alive. Yes! The Gooners! Reprise! Get your appraisal ready! Get your lotion ready! You have your Debbie back! What are you going to do? But then it's revealed that Debbie is horribly disfigured, her face is messed up, but I guarantee you the Oblongs Gooners, they will not care. They're all for that. If anything, it's even better for them. They now have, you know, like a trial to get over, a tribulation, because if her good looks are gone, then they have to power through to get to what they really want. Her heart, you know? The Gooners, they know what they want. So Debbie is horribly disfigured, but she doesn't know that yet. So she has to go and stay with the Oblongs to try to learn how to fit in with them, how to act like them, and how to be okay with being, you know, poor and disfigured. That's the entire thing. And so they put her in a room with the Oblong's grandma, and she hasn't moved in 12 years, and she just has a little belt that says yes, no, and if it starts flashing red, it means she soiled herself violently. So it starts doing that, and Debbie runs away, and she eventually finds out that she looks very ugly, and it just immediately cuts to her at a bridge, and she's gonna end her own life. She's sick of it. She can't take it anymore. She needs freedom from this, like, shackles of living as an ugly person. No, I can't be ugly. So she's about to jump. She's gonna take it all, and Milo shows up and is like, no, you can't. You literally can't. Like making it seem like he cares, like he wants to stop her, and she jumps off the bridge and just lands perfectly fine. And he walks up and he's like, no, I told you, you literally can't. We've all tried.
I told you. We've all tried.
Which got a good laugh out of me. I don't know, the show has a lot of dark humor because obviously, if this was the real world, you'd never make fun of these people. It's just the way that they are. They're just trying to do their best. But when all of the characters are making fun of themselves, like the character walking up and not actually caring if she survives, just saying, you can't kill yourself because we've all tried and we've all failed in this spot, that's a little bit dark. But is it funny nonetheless? Of course. Of course it is. So, Debbie, now realizing that she has nothing else to do, that she has to conform to being ugly, she becomes friends with all of Milo's friends. They start going around, having fun, but everybody gets sick of Debbie, so she gets plastic surgery and has to return to her normal lifestyle, her lifestyle of being pretty. And she's like, bitch, gotta go! And she goes with all of her friends, and they all look the same, and they all look pretty. And that's pretty much the end of it. So, yeah, pretty decent episode. It had a couple of good jokes there that got me, you know, chuckling, laughing a little bit. That's all you need sometimes. This show is very, very dark, but I feel like if you like dark humor at least a little bit, then you'll end up liking it. If you don't like dark humor and can't take a joke about, I don't know, somebody wanting to end their life because they are horribly disfigured and it's clearly a joke, then it's probably not the show for you. You know, it's probably not, but personally, I liked it. I thought it was funny. It was exquisite even. So if I was to rate this episode 1 to 10, I would probably give this a solid 8 out of 10. You know, pretty good. Nothing even remotely bad about it. Couple of good laughs here and there. A decent progressive plot. It doesn't do Family Guy nonsense where there's random cutaways. Every joke makes sense. Every joke is built up well. And it just feels like a overall well-told story with all these kooky characters. So I was all for it. Pretty decent for my first time watching the Oblongs. Taking a look at the episode The Golden Child, which is said to be one of the worst in the series, it's really not that bad. There's not even a specific moment that I could highlight within the episode that I would view as making it some of the worst, because overall it's still entertaining, it's quite funny, it's got some good things going on, so yeah, I'm all for it. The episode opens with Bob Oblong. He's sitting there, he's coming up with his ideas, writing them down, because he wants to be promoted at work. He's got big ideas, big dreams. His wife even comes over and is like, oh dearie, you're not gonna leave me for somebody with a functioning liver once you make the big time, are you? Which is a very odd thing to say. I can't imagine, even though with, you know, how many people on the planet, there has definitely been somebody who looks at his wife and is like, I don't like your liver, bro. I'm leaving you for somebody who can really process things a lot better than you. That's definitely a thing, but either way, still a very interesting thing to say to your husband. So, at the same time, Milo, he's trying to come up with something amazing because he wants to play some video games. He goes there, he has some quarters, he's enjoying himself, and he decides to come up with a nice and juicy energy drink, an energy drink called Manic, which honestly, as an energy drink fucking name, that's a brilliant name. Manic, love it, and everybody starts drinking it. Ooh, they start going crazy. It's like they're doing a mass amount of coke. They start geeking and tweaking and running all over the place. They're having a great time.
Think about it while I chew on your antenna.
I'm sold!
He has truly made the masses of the population manic. At the same time, Bob realizes that all of his suggestions just go into the furnace, they just get burned, charred to a crisp, and he's never really making it in the world, so that's quite sad. So, Eventually, he's sitting at the line. He's just enjoying himself. He's drinking some Manic after his son guzzled it down his throat. He now likes it, so he's sharing it with all his coworkers. His coworkers all start hitting a jig, working faster, doing a little bit better. They're really earning that paycheck, and the boss comes out and he's like, "You guys finished all the work! How did you do this? How could this have happened?" And Bob explains the drink Manic, and he starts like going for a promotion. He brings him to the office, and this is where it gets a little bit weird. Like, I didn't expect this at all because there's a camera watching them and what they're doing. And fucking the boss, he's all like, "All right, come here, assistant." And the assistant comes in, just takes off her clothes and just starts going, and just starts dancing it up. So the camera turns to there, I'm assuming, so that they could have a private conversation without the board of directors watching, which is very odd concept. So he offers Bob a promotion in exchange for giving the Manic product to the company, and Bob accepts and also starts hitting a jig with the stripper woman. Great, good for them. But he sells out Milo because Milo was the one who made it. So Bob, he starts feeling like a bastard. He starts feeling so awful. He starts feeling like not a father. He has nightmares where he's like, fraud, fraud. He goes out to play a game of golf, which left me with the question, how the hell are you going to play golf? How do you swing it? Do you just throw your meaty torso at the ball and hope that it goes? I don't know. But he just starts panicking, and he eventually realizes that he needs to come clean and tell everybody that it was Milo. He brings Milo in, and they all look at Milo, and they're like, "Messiah! Hail the Messiah!" Because apparently Milo is the Messiah, the man that they've always needed. The like company, the guy who started the company, he was going to be resurrected in the form of Milo. So Milo's there, and he, has to pass the test and live at the factory. And yeah, that's pretty great, I guess. We get a lot of wonderful scenes from this where Milo is feeling a little bit sad, so they bring him out a friend, somebody who could help him, somebody who can make him appeal to the masses and make him feel a little bit better. It's just this guy who's like, "Oh, Sonny, you want to throw some cards into a hat? What are you doing now? Don't do them on my nipple!"
Evil Vortex, I must atomize your C-rays!
My crusty old nipple!
Because he jumps on him and starts violating his nipple and touching it very sensually, which was funny, to say the least. So, Bob just thinks that this is everything Milo has always wanted, but in reality, it's all Bob has ever wanted. So Milo, he's running amok, doing a bunch of things for his father to make his father's work life easier with the goal of eventually promoting him. So Bob eventually realizes that this isn't what Milo would want, and he needs to save him and bring him back and enjoy him like the son that he is. Oh, what a beautiful tale of fathership. Oh, Lord. So, we get this scene where Milo is at the super important business conversation, and it's after Bob figures out that the reason that everybody liked Manic wasn't because it was just sugar, wasn't because there was hummingbird, feeder in it. It was because the bottles he was using were morphine bottles. Everybody was just enjoying that sweet, succulent fiend. Yes, fiend, as the Travis Scott losers would say. Oh, fiend indeed. Oh, gosh. What a wonderful song. Fiend, morphine, fiend. God, it's so stupid. But either way. So, he figures that out, and he's running to the conference, and we get this great scene where he's like, "No! Stop! Leave that boy alone!" And he runs at them at the speed of light, where they just show him, being able to run, 4 feet, and then he has to stop and take a break because he doesn't have legs. That goes on for a while. I thought the joke was really funny. Just because, I don't know, in any scene it could just be extremely normal, but then because he doesn't have any limbs, they could add that in, and that adds a lot to it. So he eventually runs there and explains that the bottles are full of morphine, which causes everybody to betray Milo, and they want Milo to just go back home, which is what the family ultimately wants, and that is pretty much the end of the episode. This episode definitely wasn't even remotely as good as Disfigured Debbie, that's for sure. It was just kind of more of things happening, but it was still entertaining, so I'm not going to go out on a limb and say that it's bad. A limb, get it? Because he has no limbs? Oh, wow, how hilarious. hilarious. It's just fine. It's not my favorite thing. It's not the worst thing. If I was to rate it 1 to 10, I would probably give it a 6 out of 10. It's not the best, not the worst, but it still does a lot of things right, and it got me to laugh a couple of times, so it's just slightly better than average, I'd say. Taking a look at the episode Narcoleptic Scotty, this episode was just constantly, and I mean constantly, throwing jokes at you, and almost every single one of them actually hit. This was just unbelievable how many jokes they were telling, and all of them were good. It was wild. It was making me perk up. It was making my nipples, squirt out milk even though I'm a man. That's how good it was. It was beautiful. It was brilliant. The episode opens with Pickles, the mama Milo, reading him a little story about how two people shared a night of passion and love and romance, and 9 months later they were given a miracle. So I don't know what the rest of that story was, but I hope it wasn't talking about coitus. So no. And then it's revealed that Milo is basically in jail at night because he has an extreme level of insomnia that causes him to go around the town and be a little bit of a freak. 7 days a week, every night, certified freaky guy. So they put him in jail. That doesn't do anything. So we then cut to the next day, and we see Milo, the mom, and the sister all having a hula dance. They're just getting down to it. Milo's making Mai Tais, and the father walks up and is like, "What's the occasion?" And they're like, well, Milo got suspended from school for doing something abhorrent and really bad to a fish stick. What? Is he pulling out a Kanye because Kanye knows that he's a gay fish? I can't imagine what he would do with a fish stick. And she's like, I started spanking him, and next thing I know, we're dancing to the hula.
This is his punishment?
Well, I started to spank him, and somehow it turned out like this.
I'm like, what the fuck? What could have happened? Like, oh yeah, you're spanking me, Mom. You're spanking me. Stop it. Stop it. Let me make you a Mai Tai, please. It's just so weird. So he buys a bonsai tree to help with Milo to see if that helps him calm down a little bit. And just in his insomnia rage, he goes around the entire town doing a bunch of different stuff to bonsai trees, like making Godzilla, doing all that good stuff. So that was kind of funny. So they take him to the doctor, and the doctor initially suggests dolphin therapy. And I was like, dolphin therapy? Oh, I hope it's a nice dolphin. And he gets in there, and the dolphin just starts beating him, using him up, just drowning him. And Milo gets out, and he's barely survived his encounter with the dolphin. Which is one of the only portrayals in fiction I've seen that is accurate of how a untrained dolphin would behave. Because they try to teach you that all dolphins are nice. Yeah, if you've ever swam with a dolphin, it's a very trained dolphin. If you got in the water with a random dolphin and it wasn't feeling very nice, it would probably start beating you the fuck up. Because dolphins are honestly evil. Dolphins will go around, they'll ram into you, they'll beat up other fish for no apparent reason, and just, the worst of it, if they see a fish that they like and they're a little bit spicy that night, they'll use it as a fucking flashlight. And that's not an exaggeration. They would do horrible things to a fish. So that's just something you need to think about. And that's just what that scene brought on for me. So they don't really know what to do for Milo, so they give him a pet. They give him a turtle, and the turtle's name is Boxy. And I was like, this is cool. I don't see how the turtle relates to narcolepsy or Scotty or anything, but his name is Boxy. He's pretty cool. Probably gonna have some silly shenanigans with him. And then they hit a dog, and the dog survives, so Milo immediately staring at his turtle and just chucks it away. I don't want this thing anymore. Why? The poor turtle. Oh no, the turtle, whatever will he do being all alone? But don't worry, he has a little bit of a redemption. So they get this dog, and they like it, and they bring it back to the treehouse. They name it Scotty, and they're all about him. They're just nursing him back to health. They really like this dog. And another kid walks in, and it's the return of Boxy the turtle! Yes! God, I've been waiting for the return of the turtle. Oh, yes. And then he sees the dog and throws the turtle away again.
Hey, look what I found! A turtle named Boxy! Wow, a dog!
No. That's the last we ever see of Boxy the turtle. It's just a travesty. It's a darn dang travesty. So, The dog eventually does get better, but this leads to Milo, still having insomnia, going out with his dog Scotty in the middle of the night, just naked and just eating out of trash, doing a bunch of dog things, and it's not good, so they have to unfortunately give Scotty away. This makes Milo unbelievably sad, just feeling an unbelievable amount of pain and anguish. He does not know what to do, but the rich family, the people who have Debbie, they come and they take Scotty away, so he thinks, okay, he's gonna have a good life, you know? He's gonna have a good life, and they're all sitting in the treehouse, and this one kid who's just got, you know, the flabbiest ass west of the Mississippi, he's like, Milo, look, I can cheer you up. Watch me use my ass like a pendulum. And they just start swinging and knocking around, which was odd, to say the least, but it was funny.
My butt into clacker balls. It's funny and sad.
So, then they're like, I know an even better thing to cheer you up. And Helga shows up. Helga was the Humpty Dumpty chick. And she's like, I got you something, Milo. This'll cheer you up. Here's another dog. And it's just a homeless man on a chain.
It's homeless Bill.
Nuh-uh.
What? But the homeless man is all for it because he wants them to he wants more horse meat. So he's willing to be a dog, and then the pound comes and takes him away. This is the rapid fire comedy I'm talking about. 1 second I'm watching a kid just throw his ass cheeks around and make a clapping noise, and the next second I'm seeing a homeless man pretend to be a dog and get taken away after screaming that he's a human. It's just all so weird, man. So, God, it's just all so weird. So we then cut to Milo. He goes to try to get Scotty back, but he does realize that Scotty does have a good life here, which makes him debate and realize that Scotty has a better life than he ever would, being with the poverty and being with all that nonsense, so he decides to leave Scotty there. We then see Scotty go outside to use the bathroom, and Debbie is watching him, and he goes to take a shit, and the family's like, no, if he did it once, he can do it again. We gotta take him away. Because he shit, you know, because apparently nobody in this family has read the book Everybody Poops. They have no desire to read that nonsense. So Scotty gets taken away, and Bob is at work, and that is when he runs into his boss, and it's so weird because he just used the bathroom, and his boss looks at him, looks him up and down, and Bob doesn't have any limbs, and he's like, God, I hope you washed your hands, you dirty pig. God, everybody in this world is so mean. Dear Lord. So he walks into this room where there's a bunch of animal testing going on, like putting a sombrero on a beaver and the beaver explodes. Very odd. And they see that they're making Scotty narcoleptic. Why, you may ask? I don't know. I think it's to make his anal glands cease, and the only way to have your anal glands cease from producing anything is to make yourself narcoleptic. That's great. That's lovely. That's exactly what you want to hear deep into the night. And so Bob, he's very upset about this. He goes home and he ends up telling everybody that Scotty is being used in these animalistic trials. So they got to break in and they got to get Scotty back. They need him, so they break into the building. We get a bunch of shenanigans there. Nothing too major to highlight, but they find Scotty there about to get him back, and then the boss shoves them into a cage and is like, you can't have Scotty back. But lucky for them, Scotty is a dog that you can trust because he picks up a sword, and we get one of the most intensive sword battles you could ever imagine. The boss man versus Scotty. They're going at it, they're swinging, they're having a good time, they're doing everything you could possibly imagine with those swords. Scotty ends up losing, he's about to take it all out, but lucky for him, Milo, he has the perfume that turns you narcoleptic. He rises up next to the help from a giraffe, and the giraffe holds him up as he sprays the boss with narcolepsy. The boss falls down into a chair and he gets a sombrero put on him, and he explodes. Wow. God, doesn't that just sound thrilling and exciting? I could be a fucking commentator. That was incredible. That's exactly what goes down. That's exactly what happens, and I loved it. So Scotty, he gets to go back home with them after, you know, just being narcoleptic. That's really his only downside, but that helps Milo overall because now that Scotty is narcoleptic, Milo doesn't have insomnia anymore, I guess. Okay, cool. I'm all for it. I'm not going to diss it. I'm not going to point out anything wrong with it. So yeah, that's pretty much the entire episode. I really did like this. I liked this a lot. I think I was laughing like every single, like 2 minutes. There was a lot of good stuff going on. There was some action. There was an interesting story. I liked the homeless man. I felt bad for the turtle. I liked the dog. I liked the sword fight. There were so many different things going on here, but they were all pretty gosh dang entertaining. So I would say I definitely had a good time. If I would rate this episode 1 to 10, I would probably give this a 9 out of 10, honestly. I think it was better than the best episode in the series, or at least the best rated episode in the series. I thought it was brilliant. All the jokes hit. The concept was fun. It was just overall a really good time. I definitely enjoyed this episode a lot. So was the Oblongs a hidden gem, or was it just slop? Well, I actually thought the show was really good, and if I truly looked at one of the worst episodes, it was obviously just the lowest rated episode on IMDb, then the rest of this show must have been pretty solid. I can't believe that there's only like 20 episodes of the show, because it feels like it could have went on for a while. I like the concept, I like the world, I love the dark humor that relates to how they're all, you know, a little bit disfigured. I thought it was fun. I thought it was different. Like, compared to a lot of other adult animated shows I watched, this had like its own vibe, its own feeling, its own creativity. It felt very different from any other adult animated show that I've seen in a long time, and this was made over almost 25 years ago, which is just crazy to me. I liked this show a lot. I thought it was a lot of fun, so I kind of wish that the show would return. Obviously, it's never going to. It's been 25 years too late. The Oblongs will never come back, but if you've never seen this show, you got 20 episodes that I think you should check out. I'm probably going to check out more of them sometime in the future, because this was a very, very fun show. I liked it a lot, so yeah. If you like videos just like this, please make sure to like and subscribe. I say I upload almost every day, but I pretty much upload every day because I'm just him. I'm that guy. I'm that guy, pal. That's me. I make a lot of good content. If the content here on YouTube just isn't enough for you, I'm going to have a lot of bonus content on Patreon. That means gaming content, reaction content, like reacting to episodes live, and just more bonus content, stuff like that. Just stuff that I couldn't show here on YouTube. And if you want a place where you can talk about your favorite games, movies, and shows, my Discord will also be in the description. I got a place where you could share your pets, you could share your art, you could talk about gaming. There's a gaming channel in there. You could just chat. You could talk about TV shows, movies, all that good stuff in one nice place. That's yeah, that's all the self-promotion I gotta do, but I appreciate every single one of you. Road to 50K. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.